Nice.
Nice.
All right, Gurty, ask me anything. Don't touch my... Ask me anything.
Alright.
Ask me anything.
Alright, bye.
Anything.
I'm drawing a blank because of the way you're looking at me. Pause. Scale of 1 to 10 for a spring slush day, East Coast, Mountain Creek. What do you think about the vibes here?
We're solid 9.4.
It's a good vibe, right?
Yeah, peaking.
I've
East
been
Coast
telling you.
peak levels, yeah.
You could go Jake.
You know what I was saying about Creek earlier is I feel like this is one of those places where at any point in time you never know when one of the little screws is going to be poking out, little plexiglass is going to be popping up. You're going sport side on a box. You thought you took the safe route, might not have been the right call.
Exactly. You're like, you got those features? I'm like, I got to check the landing first because this place gets gnarly. Don't leave your stuff around at Creek.
I did
Lock
go
your
to the
car
bathroom. Well, even before I went to the bathroom, I was like, can I leave my board here?
Yeah, I'll bring my board to the bathroom.
No one was around to ask, and I was just like, I felt it though.
Yeah.
And then in the car, I went to put like some homie gave me a medallion or something.
The belt?
The belt, yeah. And I was like, all right, cool, we'll pick someone after. I hung it on the mirror. He's like, hey, homeboy, not here.
Did he say that?
Yeah, he was like, it's not like that, but it's kind of like that. I mean, you're gonna leave a golden belt, so you know that thing's gone.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, perfect. All right, Grom, ask me anything.
Why do you like snowboarding?
Ooh. Because no one can tell me what to do.
Oh!
Get off my back! You know? Why do you like snowboarding?
I like it because when I'm snowboarding, I'm in like a different state of mind, and I'm always just more calm, and I love the experience of meeting new homies, landing new tricks, even slamming. I love it. It's just the whole package of snowboarding. It's amazing.
That was such a better answer than mine.
That's such a good answer.
I'm all just fight against
can't
authority.
Yeah.
You
She
can't
told us to put the bar down and we did. We did. Literally 2 minutes ago, somebody was like, put the bar down. Casey's like, all right.
Wait, tell them the truth though.
I was like, all right. Casey's like, I don't want to, but you did.
I started trying to lift it up after. I gave it to her though. Put the bar down. Alright, bro, what's your name?
Gavin,
How old are you?
13,
What's the most unreal thing about the world right now?
snowboarding.
Just in general. It's just, why is it so unreal globally?
It's really fun.
It's just insane how fun it is.
Yeah.
What's the most fun thing about snowboarding?
Throwing down.
So getting bodied, all of it? Stomping?
Yeah, stomping tricks.
What about getting bodied? It's all part of it. Best trick you've gotten recently?
At Killington, I got like a good back 3 on to a down tube.
Oh, okay, nasty. How long?
I average down tube like 8 feet.
All right.
Or
Back-
like a really good back lip.
Proper backlip goes a long way. Mute or weddle?
Weddle.
Weddle. All right. Front side, off the heels or off the toes?
I like off the toes.
Off the toes front side.
Yeah, Gurty.
Interesting.
Switch front side or cab?
Cab.
All right. Big floater back 3 no grab or a big front 1 poke no grab?
Probably front 1 poke.
Dude, you're on it. I feel like there's not like a right answer, but what I'm thinking is all of your answers. How do we stop scrubbing on takeoffs?
Just stop.
How? Do you scrub at all?
Not really.
Why? What's the tip? What's the tactic? What's the technique?
Just ride.
Just ride?
Yeah.
You're holding out on us. You're telling me you're not scrubbing coming off cab 5?
Kind of. But I don't know how to stop.
We gotta figure this out.
You do. Ask him.
Gurty, what, you got a good cab 5 over there?
Get Swifty.
Swifty?
I mean, I got a good back 5, but I don't got cab 5 at all.
Yeah, I don't got a good cab. I don't know.
I'm not really scrubbing the back 5s. Back 5's pretty
Back 5's are pretty good.
pretty proper edge hold on the back 5s. And we'll come back to this jerky style. All right, we got D-Dub side stoking out here at Bear. Post first run by himself, no camera, no backpack, no nuances. How we feeling? What's the side stoke level?
Feels good. It really is a huge difference not having an extra 30 pounds on your back of camera gear or a tripod in your hand or something, you know what I mean?
And a full perception and vantage point of just riding for you.
And it's just the two of us, so it's not like I'm like worried about keeping people up or like watching other people or grabbing this thing and filming. So
What's the sunburn level?
100. If whatever peak is, it is. I can't even take this down for the sidestoke.
All right. For people who've never snowboarded in the summer, give them a breakdown of the time where you got basically sun blindness.
Oh yeah, I went full snow blind.
Well, what is it? How did it happen?
I learned about it after the fact, and as soon as I let everybody know in the moment what my symptoms were, everybody knew what it was.
Okay.
So basically we went out to Fountain of Youth, and I was filming out there, so I'm trying to look at the back of the camera. In Fountain of Youth, you know, it's all white, a big white sphere all the way around with a puddle at the bottom. So everything's reflecting crazy brightness, white in your eyes and in your face. And I just didn't wear sunglasses or goggles or anything. And I wasn't even snowboarding, I was just filming all day. So we were 10 miles out into the wilderness, my first trip, 60 pounds on my back. We go to bed, I don't think anything of it. We go to bed that night. I wake up in the middle of the night, probably 4 a.m., and the moon is out. The moon is the only source of light. And I go to open my eyes. They're first of all sealed shut with like a crust and whatever it would be, some sort of membrane. And as I slowly try to open them, getting them a millimeter or two open, the moonlight was so bright, it burned my eyes. I couldn't even open my eyes in the middle of the night. Oh, psychotic. So I get super scared. I think I just go back to sleep, pretend it's a bad dream or something. Wake up in the morning, and now it's full daylight. And it's the worst thing ever. I can't open my eyes. It hurts so bad. My eyes cannot be open. It takes me like an hour probably to get them fully open. I can't look at anything white. I have to look down at the brown on the ground and the dirt on the ground. And everyone's like, what's going on? What's up? And I explain everything. And they're like, oh my God, he's snowblind. He's snowblind. You didn't wear goggles yesterday. You didn't wear shades, nothing. I was like, no, I didn't know. So then, I couldn't open my eyes. After an hour, I could sort of open them, but everything was completely blurry. I couldn't see. It was like I was 80 years old and never ate a carrot. You know what I mean? So
the lesson is?
Wear shades, wear eye protective gear, wear anything.
Wear UV shades.
Yeah, definitely
polarized
UV. Yeah, for
gang
sure.
shades specifically.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, lock them in. Yeah, I had to walk 10 miles back that day with 2 pairs of daily style sunglasses on, the big ones.
Oh yeah, the visor, the hater blockers.
Yeah, so 2 of those.
Grandma style.
Stacked on top of each other, and then I had to look down at the ground at the trail and look at the people's feet in front of me for a 10-mile hike back. And we finally got back, and then we just closed all the shades, and I wore the sunglasses inside the old Tahoe cribby. 2 pairs of sunglasses, all the windows closed, pitch black.
Honestly, post fountain is such a crazy vibe because we finished 3-day hike through a 20 some odd mile round trip with a 50-pound backpack on and hiking so much. It's just so much work, and you're living off of all the food that you brought with you. I got some sun blindness after that trip too. I remember we went back and just, you take like 48 hours just in the darkness. You're just watching movies, eating real food, cooking stuff. Insanity. What did you learn yesterday about the because I noticed it's not working right now. You throw the face mask up to the goggles or the shades, and when you breathe, it fogs.
It fogs up if you're like this, which is the most convenient thing that you could possibly do.
But when you put the face mask up first, as far as you can, and then the glasses go on top of it,
doesn't fog up
for some reason. And everybody knows that from the COVID days. If you ever had glasses, if you just put the mask up, it fogs. But if you put the glasses over top of the mask, which actually seems like it makes a seal from your mouth for the fog to go straight up into the glasses.
Doesn't make any sense.
And when you leave a crack, you think it would air out. So sometimes in life, you just have to accept things. Like literally the whole fat in the body thing not being stored the same way that it is. You know what I mean? You think you eat fat, you get fat, but it's just, that's a whole other topic.
Words are just 2 different things.
You know, we're living in a unique universe out here where we don't have everything figured out as humans. And sometimes you got to just accept things. And sometimes you got to look into things. Like fun little clear up if you're from the 90s and you remember hearing that cold water actually boils faster than hot water or warm water. Remember that theory for a little while?
Yeah, because the momentum of once it gets going. Yeah.
Super false.
That's horseshit.
Yeah, big old pile of cow dung. What else do we got recently that I learned? There was something where I was like, really?
So many things that you just like, you don't even remember when you were told it, but then you hear the new version and you're like, oh my God, why did I ever think?
Yeah, and then you start to question, what else have we just been told? And then you start to think back to, you're like, yo, I was actually getting negative points on tests for which was right.
Yeah.
So we got to go back and switch the grades.
Yeah.
I did better in high school than I thought.
Different timeline, huh?
Yeah, a little mandala action going on. Mandala effect out here.
Remember one was thinking that citrus and dairy together will instantly curdle in your stomach, so I would never have like milk and orange juice around the same time.
Really?
Not true at all.
Not true. It's also funny how everything that science these days now is teaching us that's healthy, all the answers are that before we started twisting things up and doing science to the food, it was healthy before that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
New studies show that cows who are just roaming around in fields eating grass produce products that are healthy for you.
Right.
And jamming hundreds and thousands of them into little boxes and feeding them, corn and
Just
things
they
to
would
fat
never eat.
is actually making the cows unhealthy for us.
So, Casey, what's your sidestoke level?
We're sore, dude. I'm at like a 4.5 right now, probably.
Yeah.
Hovering right around the middle, 5.0.
Did you watch Natural Selection this year?
Kind of. Zeb and the boys had it on the other night, and I watched it for a couple minutes before I started editing, and then I was listening to their reactions in the background.
Okay.
And then I saw some hard posts after to solidify what I was hearing.
Some highlights.
Yes.
Do you know who won?
Stale.
Did that surprise you at all?
From what I saw, I guess we'll say from what I heard, first of all, shout out to Stale. He's the god. I think some of the expected winners, the dogs who've been putting in work, went for some gnarly shit, and if they had landed it, would have taken it, but fell, right? And Stale had a pretty stock line, but got through, almost like strategically, and took home a much-deserved W just for all of that he's done for snowboarding and myself, I feel like. I don't know. He just stepped in the backcountry game and just took home natural selection W. He seemed shocked.
Yeah.
And also grateful, and then leading into what I said about the other homies just not securing the right line to take the W.
For someone who didn't really watch Natural Selection, I think you had a pretty good breakdown there.
Yeah, for not even seeing it.
Yeah. Which isn't to say that his run wasn't sick.
That's what I keep trying to emphasize.
Amazing.
That's what
I know.
That's my main.
I know.
I just want to make sure that everybody knows that Stale is a legend and he had a banger line in.
I didn't want this to turn into like a Stale didn't
Yeah.
deserve it. He had an insane run, and so did BMO, Blake Moeller, who was in the finals with him. Also a Natty Select rookie.
But
Coming in.
expected to win a fan favorite, some might say.
He was doing some absolutely ludicrous things. He did a back 7 off of Stale's highlight drop, but
Oh.
he just didn't land it, and he was so close, and it was amazing. Travis Rice.
Should we apologize to Travis Rice for our boy Daly hitting you with a confusing "How you doing?" When people confuse us when they're stoked up and they come up and they're just like, "Yo, let's go, hell yeah!" and they're giving us daps and we're like, "Damn, have we met this homie before?"
Did he put us up in his crib in Laguna
Yeah.
Beach? Or?
Daly said that he did that to T. Rice. He got way too overstoked, and he's like, I felt the vibe like T. Rice wasn't sure if he had met me before, and I was like, oh no, you hit him with what people hit us with sometimes. Almost like a PSA. If you do see someone that you've been like watching or stoked on in the future, it goes a long way to be like, yo, nice to meet you.
Big fan.
Open it up with something to let them know that it's the first time that you met and they don't know you. That's a crucial one.
Yeah. Sorry, Travis Rice. We are all huge fans.
Sorry, Daly.
Sorry, Daly.
That's a classic Daly move, though.
It'd be a dream to maybe
Dude,
get
I
some
want to hit
AK
Jar,
lines.
dude. This dude, what, you learned
boy.
backflips yesterday?
No, I just got them back though.
Oh, you
They
took a
were,
little
they were
hiatus?
buried,
They were buried?
buried in my bag of tricks somewhere deep below. Yeah.
Where'd they go? Why'd you take a break?
I didn't get that much reps in last year with the knee injury, so
Don't go right to the hammers.
yeah. But stoked, slowly and steadily getting
That's a tip
the
within
tricks
itself,
back.
right?
Yeah.
When you're coming back, slowly work your way up.
Uh-huh.
Well, what was a couple things that got you to lace them in?
The tip you gave me around, just trying to stick your tail a little bit above after you ollie.
Yeah, not
that definitely helped.
being able to angle your board like so your nose goes down and your tail comes
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
and you pivot. It gives you so much more room. Would you say 1,000 reps had anything to do with it?
It definitely did, dude. You know, at first I was very uncomfortable doing them, and then slowly,
How many attempts do you think he got in? Not even attempts. How many lands?
Easily 100 lands, maybe 150 attempts.
I was so afraid to try them at first too. So,
Solid ratio, though.
You know, I really didn't. I was kind of sketched out to try a backlip on that rail. But
Biggest tip we
got it.
all want to learn from you is how do you walk away from a slam like you took?
You know, if you feel okay, then just try to get a better next attempt so that it doesn't.
Yeah, but how do
kind
you
of
stay
give you
alive after what happened to you?
Well, you know, I just kind of went with it. Like, you know, I kind of clipped a little bit and did a backflip.
That's what T.
But,
Rice
you
was
know,
claiming. Don't break the inertia.
No, definitely, most certainly not. You know, learn how to
You gotta
fall.
be like a cat.
Back in the day, before I kind of ironed out some of those inconsistencies, one of the things that I would always feel the need to do to get the front three out of a rail around is bring the arms around my head, which looks terrible. And I think that's partly about pop, and it's also partly about you have to use your arms to pick up the slack for where your lower body is lacking.
So that happens to me on my 540s, which is probably similar to people's like 360s, you know,
Yeah.
what I mean, like a 540. And I think it's just, I think it makes us smaller. If your arms are kind of out and steezy to the side, it's like your stance being wider and it being harder to do a 360 onto a rail because it takes more time to go around that full 360 because it's wider. If you put your arms like straight up and down, you turn into literally what they do to spin. The
pirouette.
You would
The
know the
ballet
word
dance.
for that, you sicko. What? What?
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
We're gonna need a vocab, little pirouette definition at the bottom of the screen
Share
here.
a room with this kid.
Well, that's why, because they have less distance to travel around, which is actually another one. Like the way that I related that to the wide stance. If you're trying to be super hesh, like jib, and just do 360s on, punching your stance in a little bit will make it. I mean, do a 360 standing on flat ground with your feet 1 foot apart and then 3 feet apart and see how much harder it is to do the 360 with 3 foot width, literally Shaun White style stance. And then you see the rail riders and the jib riders and they're all pushed together.
What would a wider stance be more conducive to?
The wider the stance, the heavier the each,
The heavier the stance.
right? I mean, a lot of the 90s videos, they were proper front boards and they were a little zeeched out, but they were also super wide stance. And then that was also the era of big jumping. So I feel like you're more stable with a wide stance. You can get more pop, you can jump, and they weren't doing 1260s. So they didn't need that spin ratio to be fast. If you're only doing 5, 7, 9s, you can have that wide stance. And
Just a stable 5.
I think it was required too because of the bagginess of the pants, and it was the bell bottom style bagginess.
Yeah.
So by the time you got to the foot, there was so much swag going on, you had to widen up the stance. And really, no one was doing like heavy pretzel action there, like back then. What do you think about wide versus tight?
I don't know. Sometimes I think my stance is a little too wide. I think I'm a weirdo. I don't think about wide or skinny stance at all. I've had the same stance for
You know what I think?
probably 3 years. What do you think?
I think you think that your stance is a touch wide because your board is a touch big for you, and if you had that same stance on a smaller board, it would be a touch closer in, and that would be the right stance for you once you're on the right board for you.
Maybe we'll experiment.
And now you have 540s into 50. Cab 540 switch nose press.
If this board is a touch big for me, then God.
What makes a trick look good versus bad?
I mean, number one, arms. It's been a hot topic recently.
The old danglers.
If those old danglers are dangling right at those sides,
Nate House style.
there's a good chance the trick is looking good.
Yep.
That is the main component, is just flailing arms versus just keeping them chill. And like, especially when you're landing. When you're landing and the arms just go right back into place like they never even got off the
Yeah.
ground in the first place.
That too is when you land, having it seem like there wasn't much impact,
Yes.
or like there was so much impact. You know, anywhere in the middle is kind of what everybody does, but when it's like thugged out and you go below the earth and then come back out of it, like Zeb.
Or like Sean Fitzsimons.
Yo, such a good example. The Mount Hood front dub 10.
Illumination Rock.
Day 2, didn't get it day 1.
Hike back up.
I'm sure he was so sore. Yeah, he went through the earth. He was in Govey and came back up out at top of the rock again. And that's just a classic Fitzsimmons move there, Fitzsimons.
And then another thing though is the fake Steeze. The fake Steeze is so noticeable.
Mount, hood, front dub 10.
Well, if you're trying really hard to keep the arms down and to look like there was no impact, that will be apparent.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
I think it's if you're stiffly trying to keep your arms at your sides rather than fluidly and effortlessly keeping your arms at your sides.
Because they can kind of go up a touch in the right manner at the right time if it's not like fighting it too hard. It's when you're trying to fight the motion that's happening with your arms. But if your arms kind of go that way, like a back 7 really proper usually has, if you're regular, your back right arm does an over the head bring down, and it like lands it. It's like landing gear for it, and it doesn't look bad.
That's actually something that I've wrestled with in the past is it's the urge when you're tweaking a grab for your other arm to be in a certain position, like up in the air. Like if you're tweaking an indie, your left arm kind of wants to be up above your shoulder.
To counter it, because you're wrenching it, dipping to the right, so your weight of your left arm and body wrenches to the opposite so that you can end up back in the center.
Yeah, that's an example of a time when the arm
somehow keeping it in an area that isn't too far blown out is the call. You know what you should explain for the people, Jack? What is the difference between a flat spin, a cork, and a rodeo?
Ooh, okay. Flat spin is just a pure x-axis latitude rotation. A rodeo, the first indication for me is that you're taking off, if you're doing a backside rodeo, you're spinning backside, you're taking off your heel side edge, and you're doing the flip and the spin over your back shoulder. If you're regular, your right shoulder. And then a cork, that's where things get crazy, because a cork is kind of a catch-all for several different types of axes.
And it's not a flat spin. It's when a flat spin starts to go off axis is when it's a cork.
Because then there's misties, which kind of seems like not even a real...
Nope, that's a misty.
But you're not going to see
you know what we can do right now?
Contest commentator say, oh, he just did a misty or a double misty. So I don't
there's not really double misties. If you do a misty 5, I would say that a 540 misty is a singular trick. So in order to do a misty, it has to be a 540.
Okay, so a misty 540 is a front flip 540.
Basically, yeah. It's a backside 540 that looks like you front flip rolled it.
Yeah.
We can bring up clips for all these. We're going to have to literally do a video where we show all of the tricks and like name them all, because it's very confusing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I feel like we have it so wired, and then you start to break it down and you start to get confused. But the biggest one is the difference between a cork and an underflip.
Oh, an underflip, some people do it like a backflip front side 180.
Yep.
But I like them more when they're like...
Then it's not an underflip, Jack.
Oh, God. Really?
No.
I've never done an underflip.
Perfect. Call Mike Green.
We're in Palisades, Tahoe.
When's the last time you were here?
4.5.
What are you putting Palisades at? 1 out of 10.
Oh, we're going to be honest. We're going to hit him with a 5.5.
Oh.
It's dark. It's rainy.
Okay, current. You're applying current as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
overall.
As a whole. What do I think about the name change?
No.
Yeah, let's get into that.
Yeah, let's get real dark. It's sweet. I mean, I'm looking around. I see crevices and nooks and drop-offs and boulders and yeah. You ever seen a backflip in a gondola?
Are we gonna get one right now for the first ever sidestoke backflip in a gondola?
What?
This might break history in these gondolas.
This might be an NBD.
Bro, first of all, you have snowboard boots on, fully geared up, layers. We're talking thermals, bibs. You got bibs, one connectoid.
Yep. All right. Oh, we're shaking now. Oh my God.
That was it.
That was less sideways. That was more over. It's just.
What's happening right now? Okay, we got. This is hands down the craziest gondola ride I've ever seen. I'm not gonna lie, I have never seen you not body a perfect backflip.
I know.
In every scenario, I was overconfident.
I'm riding down, kind of like Mom.
Oh, we're riding up. So keep the freaking stove levels up because you're healthy and happy and wow.
So Elrod, what's your sidestoke level?
Dude, we're fired up. We're throwing flips in the gondola. Clearly, I'm stoked.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy, bro. I gotta come down from this.
Casey, how many 270s do you think you have on lock? 270s on. Like, for example, cab 2 pull rather than to switch 2 different 270s.
Oh gosh, and on lock?
On lock.
On what rail? What is on lock?
Proper down bar.
Proper down bar? How long? There's so many nuances to this.
You see a
Just
nice
a 20-foot down
20
bar?
foot down bar. Circular.
Circle, decent cap on. Holy moly.
Ideal circumstances for a nice
And then
down bar.
on lock, meaning
On
first
lock.
tee?
3 tries.
Oh, 3 tries? Alright. So the cab 2's for sure. Front 2's for sure. Switch 2's for sure.
Switchback?
Yeah, and back. And hardway cab and hardway front.
Within 3 tries.
Yes.
So
And-
you're claiming a proper 16 right now.
And switch hardway backside. Yep. And regular hardway backside. I got all of them. We gotta go to
All of
Dunbar. We gotta go to Dunbar. I feel like I got all the 270s within 3 tries.
So I think that's 16
That's a
different 270s.
challenge, dude. We should do it. You'd love to hear a challenge, dude. If
Yes.
one of you can upload a video anywhere, send it to us, tag me in Instagram, YouTube Shorts, whatever, TikTok, of you doing, we don't even know, how many are there?
16.
16 270s. How do we prove that it's within 3 tries? I think it would just be cool to just have entries of people just dumping 16 270s. Maybe
You know-
even getting it would be epic.
I nominate Nick Fox.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I know so many people that are doing that. I mean, which one is really the hardest out of all of
Hard
those?
way switchback 2 pullback.
It is, but it's not, because you're doing literally a fakey backside 180 and then you're pushing out a lip slide. Maybe, I know a lot of tricks seem harder because it seems like the hardest takeoff. When you get that hardest part of the takeoff done with, if you learn the motion, like there's a lot of tricks where I've learned there are singular motions that help. Like if you're trying to do any pullback of a 270, shout out Jeremy Ellenberg randomly actually. When I was learning how to snowboard frontside 270s, I would kind of have regular stacked shoulders and then do the frontside 270 spinning, and I would land and I'd try to pull it back, but I'd be like fighting it and then keep spinning around. But he told me, he's like, dude, I learned pullbacks on the front 2 today, and he just opens up his front shoulder completely with his edge still locked in, and so you have your edge locked in, front shoulder completely open, you pop forwards, you do a frontside 180, and then right before you land on the rail, you just shift your leg out. And it like causes your other shoulder to counteract it, and so you're doing the proper 90-degree front 270 switch front board, and then naturally it just pops you back to riding away switch. So the biggest thing is like opening up that shoulder, and that was like weaving back to the 270. Like even on the 450 thing, if you do a frontside 360 off the toes, you always have this weird motion where you can just push the legs out. Like don't do anything with the upper body, you push the leg out, and then it automatically makes it so that when you're in that board slide, it will snap back. Like you almost have to. And you see so many good riders with the 270 pullbacks, they always have their upper body either almost done with the trick or way ahead of the trick. Like the backside is the complete opposite. You gotta be almost done with the trick on the takeoff, push the leg out, and it snaps back. Whew! Everybody just learned 270 pullbacks. Everybody.